says, "Hello, Brock. I've recently started dating someone new, and things have been going quite well. We have a great connection, similar interests, and the conversations flow nicely. However, there's something that's been on my mind. We both come from different cultural backgrounds, and I wonder how cultural differences might impact our relationship in the long run. In your experience, are there any particular challenges or considerations that I should be aware of in this case? On the flip side, what are some potential benefits that can come from sharing these cultures in a relationship? Thank you for your expertise. I love the show." And again, that was signed by James.
All right, James. Thank you so much for submitting this. This is probably one of the most fun submissions I've had in quite a while. I'm actually kind of in the same boat with you. I've married a woman who was from Mexico. Her family's from Mexico. And I have enjoyed getting to be exposed to the Latin culture when I'm with her family at parties, events, weddings. All of that stuff is something that I never would have gotten to experience if I had married somebody from my own culture. And it's allowed me to grow, to understand others, to just have an overall broader experience in life. And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm hoping that, and it sounds like you kind of are, you're enjoying it as well. Let's just, let me say this real quick before we go to the commercial break. There are definitely some things that you need to navigate to make sure that down the road, you two are on the same page, because cultural differences definitely can pull you into two different directions regarding maybe the way you want to celebrate a marriage, or how you want to raise kids, or just how you want to interact with your families. So when we get back, we'll kind of dive a little bit into that. I'll give you a couple insights on what to look out for. And again, James, thank you so much for writing this. And yeah, so I am actually married to a woman who her and her family are all from Mexico. So I get to get exposed, if you will, to the Latin culture on a regular daily basis. And I absolutely love it. They've always been very warm and welcoming to me, and allowing me to kind of see the things that are important to them in their lifestyle. What comes down to food. It comes down to prerogatives with family. Comes down to just their overall history, how they view work and education. All these types of things, I think, just kind of add like a heightened experience overall for the relationship. So I definitely am an advocate for dating outside of your culture, and just having those opportunities to experience what others live every single day. So your question was, are there things that you should be looking out for? Yes, there are definitely some things that you should be looking out for. And just before we jumped on, I was talking to Gino about a movie that Jonah Hill did called You People, and it talks about this very thing. So James, if you haven't watched this, definitely watch this movie. I believe that he is in the movie. He's a Jewish background, and then a woman that he's marrying is of Muslim background. So you can kind of understand already just a little bit of a cultural background differences, and maybe some conflicts there. And the way that that's navigated is really, really funny. It's a really good take on how to compromise. Yeah. And I lead to compromise very intentionally here, because when you do date, regardless of if it's in the same culture or not, you have to kind of be a master of compromising. And that's even more so when you're dating somebody of a different culture, when you're trying to blend what your lifestyle and your ideals are, being able to have conversations that are productive, that let the person that you're seeing feel valued, feel seen, not disrespected. And that's a massive thing whenever you're dating somebody of different cultures, that you don't ever disrespect their background. Being able to do that in a really healthy way is one of the biggest skills I think that you can bring to a relationship where you two are sharing different cultural backgrounds. One thing that you need to be looking out for is how, or do you want to share like the children growth? Like how do you want to do that? Or like how is she raised? First of all, does she approve of the way that she was raised? What are some changes maybe? And then see like how yours were. So don't wait very, very long in the relationship to start having these types of conversations, because there are going to probably be a couple of differences that you might share, and you want to make sure that there are some things that you're able, again, to compromise on, and make sure that you guys are on the same page. And that part's very important. Talking about is marriage something that is really important? And if so, what does that actually look like? Having different cultural backgrounds, marriage looks different from people from Africa or India or China or Australia, Europe. I mean, everybody's marriage ideas are completely different. And I'm going to tell you this, even if you're not sharing a cultural difference, weddings can kind of break a relationship down in a way. They really, really can. They can be a little tricky, and I want to make sure that you are prepared for what her expectations of a wedding day will be, because if you're not able to compromise, if you're not able to have constructive conversations, and you don't have an open mind, some of those differences can really throw you for a loop, and you need to be in the most supportive mindset possible. Now, this will be the third and last one that I'll give you. Really understand how involved she expects her family to be in your relationship. Now, I say this because there are sometimes boundaries with our family that are different culture to culture. Sometimes, her family might feel like you guys need to always be involving, like they need to be involved in your business. Some cultures feel that almost like you need to be living together, and that can really put a strain on the relationship. So that's like just one of the things that you really, really need to make sure that you're clear on, that you need to look for and set your boundaries in place right now. So if privacy and just your relationship dynamic, if the privacy of that is of the utmost importance, regardless of what her cultural background is, like, you need to be saying these things up front, and it needs to be a safe place where you're able to exchange these ideas of what you feel a relationship is going to be. So as long as you're able to do that, I think you'll have a lot of success in this type of relationship. And some of the many benefits of a multicultural relationship is, like I said, being exposed to different ideals or events, just, opening you up to almost like a growth mindset, just exposing you to more things than you probably would have if you had just stayed in your lane.
Right. Seems like a lot of it, too, is probably trying to nip things in the bud, or at least talking about things way before it becomes an issue. So all of a sudden now you're a couple years deep in a relationship, and you don't like the way they celebrate Christmas. It's just not going to...
It can get tricky. It really can.
So, yeah, talking about it beforehand and seeing how those families... And then there's families with the in-laws that seem to maybe are thinking they're going to move in eventually. I mean, some cultures have that a lot.
That is, and that's what I was saying. Like, you want to know what those boundaries are if they think that they should be really involved in your everyday life.
Absolutely. I think that's sound advice. Thank you, James, for writing in. Again, you guys can send in an email as well. It's real simple. You can leave it anonymous if you so choose. That's Gino, Gino, at WDODradio.com. You can also hit us up on social media, and you can go to BrockOlson.com and reach out to Brock on social media, too, if you want to send a question in that way. And also, Brock offers so much, from matchmaking and speed dating events and more. So make sure you keep tabs on that. Again, that's BrockOlson.com. Brock, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much.
Sounds good, Gino. Thank you.